Okay, our second question for this week is from Jason on DHEA and Pregnenolone Supplementation. Rob, I'm a 45-year-old male. Job is sometimes stressful, but for the most part, I get 8 hours of sleep and follow a lower carb paleo diet 6 days out of 7. Been doing this for close to a decade. I've been experimenting for a year or more with Pregnenolone and DHEA in varying amounts. When I take Pregnenolone in doses of 200 to 400 milligrams before bed, I feel great and everything works really well. Focus, mind, and man things. Same if I take 100 milligrams or so of DHEA. I'll use these on weekends mainly and not so much during the week. I notice during the week without them, I tend to be bitchy and emotional with low sex drive. If I take Pregnenolone or DHEA, these issues go away. I'm afraid I'm taking too much or somehow dependent on these supplements now. What should I be looking out for or the downsides to these substances? I feel like I'm playing with fire.
Man, this is it's an interesting topic. I would view this approach like on the HRT spectrum to be like one of the really minimally invasive approaches, because what we're doing is providing some substrate both on the pregnenolone side and also on the DHEA side, which can mitigate cortisol issues, that can augment testosterone potentially. But also, specifically with DHEA, it can cascade into testosterone and be converted into estrogen. And this is some of the problem with folks taking really high amounts of DHEA, which these amounts are pretty high. Like most people seem to get, what I would recommend is tinkering with fractions of these doses, like the DHEA starting off at like 25 milligrams a day and see how you do, and try to find like a minimum effective dose. Sometimes you need to find a compounding pharmacy to get that done, because some people will notice, like in men specifically, prostate issues and some problems related to this stuff converting in a not great way. As to the dependency thing, we've talked about this on other podcasts, and we've talked with our good friend Dr. Kirk Parsley. He's cited research that the average 45-year-old male has testosterone levels about 3 times lower than what our grandparents did. And we don't, is it the xenoestrogens? Is it sleep? Is it radio frequency? Like, we don't know. Maybe it's all of the above. We don't really know exactly what it is. Clearly mitigating the cause would be great, but it's oftentimes hard to pin down. But what we do seem to find is whatever diet, lifestyle, and kind of medical intervention that fixes that stuff and makes people feel better seems to generally be a good thing. And the whole HRT topic is really controversial, both from like the Lance Armstrong drug testing cheating thing, which, I mean, Jason's probably like me, like a middle-aged has-been athlete who just wants to not
Wants to feel good.
And this stuff will definitely help. And so it's interesting how people moralize that. But the advice I would give is to actually tinker with much lower doses on this, maybe closer to like 50 milligrams on the pregnenolone and more like 25 milligrams on the DHEA. And then just tinker with, ratcheting those up and down. And certainly you could do like 1 day on, 1 day off would be one way to cycle this stuff. And I would go in and figure out a protocol, whether it's 1 day on, 1 day off. I would get some levels checked. You can do either saliva, but I would honestly probably do blood levels of both DHEA, sulfate, and pregnenolone, and just see where you are. I was tinkering with this a little bit, and I had DHEA levels. I was taking 100 milligrams every third day or something, and my DHEA levels were honestly too high, and so I had to go to like every 5th or 6th day. So that's what I would tinker with.
Okay.